Okay, gentlemen, the conclusion of another phenomenal season for TNG. I posted in the announcements channel. I hope all of you had the chance to look at it, not just to see where we finished, but where we came from. And that's rather spectacular across the board. Now, some might say that certain clans maybe didn't participate or didn't push through the entire season, and that somehow that reduces the success of what the scoreboard looks like at the end of the season. And I'm kind of reminded of that same question I asked last season's Clan Battle champion, because in that season, a perennial winner who had long, for many seasons, maybe 5 seasons in a row, won it every season by a lot, basically kind of gave up in the middle of the season. And I said to the commander of the clan, and this was on the podcast, well, do you think that in any way devalues your victory, or does it is it really just a measure of a different kind of strength, or the kind of strength that really takes to be persistent, to be strong, and to succeed regardless of the circumstances of the season? And he thought it was the latter, and I agree with him. He was right then, and he's right now. I also I mean this jokingly with no harshness in my heart, but I do believe that you people deserve a slice of the credit for the number 2 finish, because what got that there in that number 2 spot was built here, it was nurtured here, that potential was realized here. And on that account, I'm going to be sending Borla an invoice for some of that steel in the treasury. So I only say that jokingly. But that also kind of brings me to my next point, which I think is important. I am certain that in this clan, despite our very big differences with some of the other large clans and how they were formed, despite the color of our stats, our averages on PR, despite the fact that WoW's number says that we are something in the 40s in terms of clan strength, that we have long punched above our weight, and I don't think that any other clan has the promise and potential that we have in our stable right now among you and among the people who are going to be joining in the period between the 2 seasons. So I'm not just I don't want to just brag though on I have a lot of pride in what's been accomplished here, but it's not just about what we see in the clan battle leaderboard at the end of the season. I want to talk a little bit about what we've built here, what we've built here together. First of all, we've created so much for the community. We've created an embassy where anybody can be here. There's no restrictions. You just have to be polite, and all are welcome. We've created a Discord index of all of the clan embassy, or all of the clan discords. That doesn't exist anywhere else. That's an innovation that we have, that our members are managing and upkeeping. Our quartermasters are doing a fantastic job with that. We reinvented the WoW's tactic tools, and I think we actually improved on it because we have more current maps in it. That was a tool that was used by everybody, clans around the world, regardless of servers, and that crashed. We brought it back, and we didn't keep it to ourselves. We made it publicly available to anybody who wanted it. You can see the work we've done on the podcast. We've raised issues that others have not. We've asked questions that have been on people's mind. I think we did a reasonably good job holding Wargaming accountable on the times we talk to their employees. But we've also, more importantly, shined a light on very small communities, very small clans that have just something unique or something special about them that otherwise would have been overlooked. And I can't thank my partner Bogsy enough for helping develop that, and and those of you who have promoted it or helped us find guests or been guests on it or guest hosted and all that. But more importantly, what this clan has done for the community is I see in the random div channels those things packed with people who are not in our clan. In fact, people who have clans of their own, but they decide to come to this Discord and play here because of what our culture is, because of how welcoming we are, how open we are, how friendly we are. And I made the announcement a few days ago that, hey, if you're going to be playing in divs, we're not going to do it on the private side. Those channels are just for clan battles. You show up, you're here to play divs, go up above. Show the folks that we're active, that we're welcoming. And if somebody wants to div, yeah, play a div with them. Give them a chance. Have some conversation. Tell them about the clan. And I have had a hand in some of the things that I've listed, but I really haven't had much of a hand in that at all. That is all you guys creating this community that there's no other clan on any other server in this game that has contributed to the community half as much as TNG has. And I want you to remember that and keep that in your mind, and it means something to be here. At the conclusion of this meeting, and the captain meeting and XO meeting to follow, I am stepping down. The new commander of TNG, with my complete endorsement, will be paid a piper. Him and the other XOs, I believe, will do a fantastic job surpassing what we've accomplished when I was here. Now, you might be wondering why I am stepping aside. It's not because I'm burnt out or I don't like doing this. I actually love doing this. I love leading this clan. I love playing the game. I love leading clan battles. I love doing strategy. I love doing the podcast, which is a new discovery, because it's something I really haven't done a lot of in the past. And I love just hanging out with you guys. That's the truth. Just being able to pop in and shoot the breeze and play some random divs. That is my second favorite thing to do in an evening, and first one you can figure that one out. But that's the most favorite thing I can do in any evening that doesn't involve my wife. How about that? We'll leave it at that. But that's kind of the problem, and that's kind of why I have to go. This has become a pure indulgence to me. It has cost me personally a lot outside the game, and I can't afford this anymore because every moment I spend here is a moment that I need to be doing other things. Some of you have some idea about what I do in the real world, and you might be able to understand from that perspective. This is something I've struggled with. It's not something easy to walk away from, but it's the realization. Thanks, Scorf. I will say though that the leadership here has access to me. They all have my phone number. They can get a hold of me if they need to. And if any of you has a desire to stay in touch or connect, my email address is synpax@hotmail.com, and I will check that occasionally, and I'll do my best to get back to any of you. And I wish all of you the best of luck moving forward. Putting that aside, we have some all-hands business to discuss. I do want to give each of the captains of the crews a chance to speak. Not too long. Try to keep it to a minute. Then we'll do open, and then we'll conclude this. And I will talk to the captains and XOs downstairs. All right, let's start with captains in the season's priority order. That starts with, I haven't looked to see who's here and who isn't. Danny, are you here? Yes, you are. You have the floor, my good friend.
Well, that's a bit of a shock. So, very interesting. Okay. What can I say, Assassins? We've done a fantastic job this season. I'll also try to keep it really short and sweet. I've been up for about 14 hours, so I'm not my usual perky self. Last season, we ended up on 44 points. We just snuck into Hurricane. Some people said we were lucky. Well, this season we've done it again. First run through, we went to Struggle, straight through, baby. Never looked back, never fallen down. And we ended up on 121 points, which obviously the X-Force had something to do with that as well. But they did exactly the same thing. They had a good day, we had a bad day, and vice versa. So we did it together. So that's a shared point system. So we both obviously share that. And we ended up fifth, which is, it's not an easy thing. This team is not a fluke. This team is a good team. I would like to keep it that way. It is a very strong team. We have a lot of resilient players, 4 to 5 players. We're looking to obviously extend that to 7 to 10 full-timers possibly. In the past, and I'm sorry to say, and it has happened this season quite a lot, we've had probably 20 people rotate through. A lot of people were part-time. And unfortunately, the way we're going into Hurricane, if we want to be in the top 10, we just simply cannot rotate 20 part-timers anymore. So I'm sorry to say that. But if you were with us this season, and whether you play 2 games, 20 games, 70 games, we really appreciate it. It was nothing personal, so please don't take it personal that you got moved along to other teams. Also highlight, we've had 2 additions, obviously Tempest in the CV, and the star of the season, which I think is Claire. First time playing clan battles, cool as a cucumber, carried about 3 or 4 games on her own. This is something I haven't seen done before. I was a complete potato when I first played, so I know what it's like. I've seen other people come into the clan battle scenario, and they've done this so well in the first season. So Claire, if there was a rookie of the season award, you would definitely get it. Last but not least, as I mentioned before, thank you to X-Force for not only helping us out towards the end, but also for lending us a few of their players. Towards the end there, the last 3 or 4 sessions, we borrowed their CV and I think 3 or 4 of the other players. In saying that, enjoy the break. Let's deal with COTS and look forward to the third season. I definitely think we'll be top 10 material again. So if things go well, um, yeah, we definitely have a solid team of
Uh,
assassins that's going to be Hurricane material.
wait,
Thank you.
wait,
That's it.
way to keep it to a minute, Danny. Always appreciate it, my good friend. Let's go to next party, I think, which was Aaron. Yes, Righteous. Give us a few words.
It was a sort of an interesting season with tier six, and we had to incorporate a couple new players and lost a couple. Oh, we lost a lot of our good players, to be honest. So we kind of started all over. Yeah, and in the beginning we tried out a couple things. Then we got actually good running, and then yeah, I had to leave for a week, and after that we were moved around a lot. So we're just I don't know, just trying to teach stuff, I guess. So I mean, it's tier six. Next season will probably not be tier six, but I mean, team cohesion, predicting what your teammates will do, coordination, communication, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a teaching season, I'd say. We still did pretty good. I mean, if we didn't like take a couple breaks from moving left and right, I think we would have made it to probably to struggle to Hurricane, I guess. Just ran out of time eventually.
I agree, and I think that you've got a very strong team behind you, and depending on how things go moving forward, I know that you and a lot of your people are going to be a big part of pushing the ratings moving forward. Next up will be X Force, but I'll speak just briefly. Um, Remarkable job this season. The last night there were some very notable battles. In fact, the last week there were very notable battles that showed me that nobody can take a win against us for granted. We can whip anybody um, if we're on task and we're focused, and we can whip anybody even without me there. It's very fair to say, and that's what the record shows. I'm happy to announce that alongside Smoothfiend, Kalen is being promoted to the other X-Force captain in my absence. He was a remarkably good caller in my absence. It's nice to know that there are multiple people who could always step forward and run the show. And, you know, the one thing that is a little bit like Jello, there's always room for, and that is improvement. And we all have room for improvement, but he did a remarkable job, as did Smooth and Jam, and it was really great playing with which is probably the oldest crew, with some ancient folks in it like Tom Hanks and Squirf, and the personalities we had. And I thought that our camaraderie was superb. I mean, there are a few tense moments here and there, but for the most part, it was just an easy, fun, loving group of guys to hang out with and smash some victories. So I look, fingers crossed. I hope that X Force continues in future seasons and continues to grow. Moving forward, we will next talk to Corsairs, Captain Des Pirate. Des Pirate, please unmute yourself. And congratulations on reaching, which was essentially the objective, which was Typhoon 1, and a higher rating than you've had, than TNG 3 has had in previous seasons. Das, you are muted. I'm going to type at you. May come back to Das. Okay, next up, we'll hear from Fox of Kingsman. You have the floor, my friend. Okay, we do not have Fox.
Yeah, Fox isn't here.
Yeah, I see him. Okay, does anybody here who played with Fox's Kingsman want to speak a moment just about, how the season went?
Antonius can say a few words. I mean,
oh yeah, please do, Antonius. Please do.
We made a lot of changes through the season. We had ups and downs throughout the whole season. Made a lot of changes, moved around. But I think as a new group starting out, it surpassed my expectations. I think Fox is interested going forward. He's done a good job calling, and all the guys there have done a good job coming together. Good job this season, and hopefully we can continue and build upon it next season.
Yeah, and I want to add is that Kingsman struggled a lot because of a couple of reasons. One, because they had point inflation because one of the crews they were with for pretty much the whole season, they were side by side, was driving up their ratings higher than it would have been ordinarily, which made matchmaking much more difficult. But through all of that, to his tribute, Fox never blinked. He always had a good attitude about it. He even told me at the season, like, I really appreciate this. I'm ready to do it again next season. And despite having it as taking a beating all season long, like he did, for him to come back with that attitude to maintain that, uh, that kind of spirit tells me that there's a lot of potential, and that's exactly what I like to see. That's exactly what I want to hear from a first-time crew captain, and there will be crew captain opportunities in the future. So I hope that perhaps he gives some inspiration to other crew captains who maybe the first time about, maybe not everything's working out well, maybe they're struggling, and just to keep that in mind that Fox provided a phenomenal example. So after I'm done embarrassing him, I'm going to ask Des Pirate. Des Pirate, you want to give us a sound check here?
Hey, can
There
you
you
hear me?
go. Yes, yes, sir. Loud and clear. You have the floor.
Awesome. Yeah, Corsairs did really great. We came through at the end, got 2 strong sessions in, threw up some point gain there at the end, and really, I think if we had another 2 sessions, we would have really taken a shot at the struggle there to get into the hurricane. The meta shift towards the end, I think we just needed to get on that a little sooner. That ended up working out really well, and there's a lot of potential there for that to really start clicking. It was a lot of fun overall. Crew ended up working pretty well together, and when we all got together, it was fun, putting up a lot of wins. So yeah, everybody did really great.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it. And I think that for among the new crews that were starting out, I say this nice. This is both applies to you and to Kingsman. It's the expectation or the in the past, maybe we get one good crew that comes out of 3. Maybe last season for all kinds of reasons, and I accept it's ultimately everything that goes wrong. I accept the fact that those are decisions that I made that led to those things. The previous season, um, you know, uh, no crew made it out of 3. This season we have 2 crews that are making it out of 3, which is I think pretty fantastic. And the third crew that that started there that didn't quite make it, well, they ended up just reinforcing other crews that needed some help in a really positive way, because it's just the nature of setting crews up is that people they do the survey, they say I'll be here 4 nights out of the week, locked in, all 4 hours, and then they kind of disappear. We don't know who those people are until we set the crews up, and it was a little bit audacious of me to start 3 crews in 3, but I think it paid off. And I think even the crew that did not, I tip my hat now to Rogue and his Wolf Pack, that unfortunately dissolved, but he gave it a really good run, and he should be proud, and everybody who ran with him should be proud of that. Next, I do not want to neglect them, but we do have that special crew, Mutants. It is not competitive. It kind of warms up the ratings in 3, and then inevitably moves to S. But it's just a place for folks who are maybe been more active in the past, can't be quite as active, to get some clan battles in, get some camaraderie, and also to give folks who are maybe neophytes and want a real low pressure place to start calling battles to go. So I don't know if SenseNet. Please talk to us a little about, since you have season after season been carrying a lot of the weight down there in Mutants. How do you feel about the season?
We had some real problems getting a quorum together to play. That was our main problem. There just weren't enough reps that we could get in with a standardized crew. So it was kind of like play with who we have and what we have, which doesn't lead to development, and it made it really difficult to do anything other than keep one ship lineup. So as people came in and out, at least we had some amount of consistency. There's definitely some skills development that needs to happen, but there's good practice. I saw improvement on the majority of the players who needed skills development. I deeply appreciate Fox and the Kingsman crew for letting us commingle the rosters towards the end when we were having real difficulty fielding a team.
Yep, and obviously it is a difficult crew. It's because of its nature. Our focus is going to be on competitive, but I think that it was good that they were able to get games in, and that again, I think a couple nights at least, maybe a few mutants filled in to help get Kingsman running during the times when you guys were in the same branch. So it's a problem that can eventually go away as more, as the total player pool in TNG grows, and folks who say, "Hey, I've had enough. I want to just play casually. I'll drop in a battle with you guys. I need to take some time off. I need to go to mutants." But that's something that I guess future leadership will struggle with. But it's kind of one of those puzzles that okay, we have our competitive crews shown up. We have a couple of these people around who we don't aren't here enough to be in a regular crew, but are here enough and they want to play clan battles. So what are we going to do with them? So it's sort of it's a difficult challenge, and I appreciate you, SenseNet, stepping up and trying to get things coordinated, and keeping these people's appetites, because the idea is that eventually some of these mutant types will find the time or the desire to come back on the competitive side, get drafted into competitive crew, and just continue to build those out. But it is a difficult position. I can't take that away. So with all the crews covered, we're going to open the floor for anybody to speak or comment or give feedback to the new potential leadership on how they think things should run. And if you want to claim the floor, just because I think we will have a few folks, just go ahead and say, just claim it in officer discussion text channel. And my only request is that you try to keep it relatively brief and constructive. Sisa, show's yours.
Sure. So I guess the big question is what lessons were learned from the Saints defection and what changes will be made in response to that moving forward?
There's, I guess, some personal conflicts that kind of came up that contributed to that, but that's really incumbent on the future leadership to answer that question moving forward. But it's just one of those things, unfortunately, that happens in the cycle of games. This clan was started by a defection as well. But I don't think we should let it discourage us particularly much, because I think that we have here the talent that we can surpass where we've been before. So I wish I had an easy answer I could snap my fingers. Ultimately, it's my fault because I'm the clan commander, and pretty much anything that but if I think that I did almost everything I could to prevent it, but sometimes it's just a personal conflict. Boggs, do you want the floor? And I don't want to dwell on that issue in particular because it's some personal stuff, and it's I don't want to get in trouble speaking for people who can't be here to speak for themselves. Boggsy.
Right. So, like Synpax was saying, we don't want to speak for people who aren't here, nor do we want to dwell on the past. Piper is going to be in charge from here going on, and Late Light and Antonius and myself will obviously be here to help him. And one of the most important things that we can do to help him is we can listen to you guys. Things get very frustrating, especially during clan battles, during COTS, during anything competitive, because that's when the rubber meets the road. And so to answer that question from Sisa about like what is learned and what can be done, please, please, please. The most important thing I think going forward that can be done is if you have an issue with how things are going or how things with other people, I mean, just really, if there's something that makes you upset enough to the point where you feel you need to leave the clan, please say something. And please be clear, like what your issue is, what you would like to see happen. You can come to me, you can come to Late Light, Piper, Antonius. I mean, I don't think that anyone has ever said Synpax was not available. Synpax has been one of the most available people, I think, on this entire server, and it really distressed me that there wasn't more discussion about it before their decision was made. That's been, I'm not going to speak for Synpax, but that's been the really hardest part for me in dealing with these people, whom I still like, because I feel they didn't give any of us a chance to help. So just speaking for myself and hopefully for the other XOs and for, maybe for Piper too, really, guys, if there's anything you need that we can help, please come talk to us about it. Because, there's always something that can be done. Don't just disappear.
Okay.
That's it.
Well said, Bogsy. I agree. That's often what have been stated as the first rule of the clan is that you have a problem, come talk to me. And on voice comms, especially the more important it is, the more important it happens on voice comms because you all know the limits of text. So I now give the floor to Righteous.
Maybe it's just a language thing, but if you're in charge of an entire clan, it's not your fault, it's your responsibility. That's maybe a small but a very important difference.
Okay. You said two things. Okay, go ahead.
Not at this. I mean, this has been addressed. The takeaway message for this season, I think, especially since it was relatively low tier, relatively high RNG, relatively weird meta. The takeaway message from my crew, and I'm pretty sure for most crews, except for maybe the veteran crews, is I think it's not. Someone mentioned like we have to do some skill development. Just keep in mind we are all very skilled players. Like I don't think anyone can join since like 2 years if he's not a very skilled player. But there's a difference between a very skilled random player and a very skilled competitive player. And a very skilled random player can become, or should easily become, a very skilled competitive player, but he needs to change his mindset. That's the most important part. And I think that's the development that a lot of, let's say, unexperienced competitive players, newer members have to take. And I think if our teams that are working on that, keep working on that, then we will get a lot of very good competitive players. So it's not like about aiming or whatever, it is about competitive mindset, situational awareness, team play, that kind of stuff.
There's a massive difference that I've been saying it for like months now between randoms, being good at randoms and clan battles.
Yes.
As soon as people realize that, they'll definitely improve themselves and they'll be happier. They'll be happier because they'll do well in competitive.
Yep.
I don't lie if I say the better I get at competitive, the worse I actually get at solo random play. I'm literally doing worse.
The expectation
or maybe
of teamwork, I suppose.
More, I don't know.
Yeah. So well said, Righteous. You're completely right. Brown and Proud, you have the floor.
I was just kind of gonna mention the whole what Bogsy was saying, to encourage people if they have an issue to bring it up, but to also remind future leadership that, if somebody does have an issue and they don't air it, then, how are you supposed to know if they don't, if they're not being honest with you? So to not take it too much to heart and just to, to point out that I did see some good leadership from Pirate. Some potential. That's all.
I agree completely, and that all makes a lot of sense. And Pirate is quite a nice discovery of this season, I have to say, and he earned very impressive what he was able to do as a first-time captain. Next up, Gathering Tempest. Are you claiming the floor, or is that?
Nope.
Oh, okay. L-Man, are you claiming the floor?
No.
Okay. So, let's see, a few jokers still in the channel. If anybody else wants to claim the floor, you may just type into officer discussion. Otherwise, I will close this and we'll post the video of this for those who've missed it. But I just want to leave you with one thing, is that many of you, especially when you joined this clan kind of had a reputation. Not a reputation, but it had a target on its back. An unearned reputation, but definitely had a target on its back, and it took a lot of courage to throw those TNG tags on. And I think it still does. So just remember that even though you might have disagreements with people here, tempers may flare, especially during clan battle season, keep those discussions, keep those arguments here and civil and constructive, and just remember you're kind of in this together, and when you're out there, in random battles or elsewhere, just get each other's backs, because no one else is going to. keep that in mind. It's been a tremendous pleasure to serve all of you. I am the clan leader, but I basically I'm not so much in charge as basically responsible for trying to keep everybody here happy. And it's kind of anybody can decide to leave the clan at a moment's notice. The position of clan leader is extremely tenuous. So a few questions. Troubadour, the next draft will occur in terms of reforming and redrafting crews will happen. It tends to happen once the new clan battle season's announced because it's kind of hard to do it without that knowledge. And also because the clan battle season announcement tends to include information that tends to be the pattern. Going to, let's see, yeah, very good comments here in discussion. Okay, I'm going to have the captains come downstairs, but I just have to say it's been an honor, and it's very hard to walk away from here. But if in a perfect world, I would lead this clan for another 7 or 70 clan battle seasons and another 100 COTS. So I've really enjoyed your company. Feel free to stay in touch. Drop me an email at synpax@hotmail.com. I may occasionally pop in here once in a while, but I really need to stay away from here for my own good. Does anybody else have anything to share for the good of the order? Going once? Going twice? All right, great job everybody. Captain's downstairs.